Hey you guys, and welcome back to another 2016 wrap up. I'll link my Vlogmas slash video every day plus video down below because I just keep coming out with videos every day. But this should be my second to last one because after the last 2016 wrap up video and my hashtag a year-thon wrap up video, you guys probably won't see me for like a week, if only so I can just take a break. So let's go ahead and get started. In July, I read 2 books, and it was Just a Bit Ruthless by Alexandra or Der Hazard. I really should have looked this up before I went for this video, but this is the 6th book in the Straight Guy series. I didn't read books 3 through 5. I skipped around because it follows different couples, and I was, at the time, I was just borrowing it from Kindle Unlimited, and I was like, I kind of don't want to read the next book in the series. I want to read about this couple. So that's what I went for, and I really enjoyed this couple, and it really had that, it had the kidnapping trope, I'm not going to lie. Some of you are probably looking at me like, really? For those of you who don't read like a lot of romance and haven't discovered like the darker side in some of these romances, that is a trope in some of these romance. And I don't know, but I felt like it was handled okay in this book. It was interesting to see like how it all played out, and so I gave it 5 out of 5 stars because I really love the couple and their tension, and just, yeah. And then the next book that I read was Killing Floor, the first book in the Jack Reacher series, and I gave this another 5 out of 5 stars. That is going to be a theme in all my wrap-ups because I might not have reached the goal that I wanted to reach with the books that I meant to, but I read a whole lot of books that I loved. So there is that trade-off. This is the first book in the Jack Reacher series. Tom Cruise plays Jack Reacher in the movies, and I love him because I feel like while he may not physically look like the guy that they described in the books, he embodies him to a T for me. And this one, we first meet Jack Reacher, and of course he's moving around, and he enters a small town, and some people accuse him of murder, and stuff goes down, and it was really interesting, especially with some of the coincidences that happen. And then some people think, hey, sometimes books are not realistic, but if you ever watch the news, sometimes some strange coincidence does go down, so I'll just let it go for this novel. But I really enjoyed it, and 5 out of 5 stars, and I look forward to reading the rest of the novels slowly but surely. And then in August, I read Welcome to Our Village, Please Invade Carefully. This was an audiobook that I got from Audible, and it's a BBC radio series technically, and it follows this alien invasion, of course, that's taking place in this small English town that is cut off from the rest of the world because the person, before they invade Earth, they want to see like how the Earth's subjects are. And I just like how most of the people in this village is just accepting what is going on, except for like one main antagonist for the alien person, and just kind of see their banter back and forth, how she's trying to have a revolution where nobody else really cares, and then the alien person, which is like, he's competent but incompetent at the same time, and he has like the supercomputer who's really awesome as well. And I just really enjoyed listening to this, and I really hope that somewhere down the line they just pop up with a 3rd series. But I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, and I definitely recommend you guys listen to it. And then the 4th book I read was A Child's Treasury of Irish Rhymes by Alice Taylor Nicole and Nicole Emo. I have the book somewhere, I don't know where I put it, but this book I got when I went to Ireland. At one point I just picked it up. It was nice, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I really like the poems in here, and rhymes. And then I read Milk and Honey by Rupa Kapoor, and I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and wrote down a sample. We've been arguing more than we ought to about things neither of us remember or care about, because that's how we avoid the bigger issues. So I really enjoyed this poetry collection, and I definitely want to get a physical copy. And then I read Hemlock Grove, Reflections on the Motive Power of Fire, and this was like a graphic novel that was free online, and I really enjoyed it. I really love Hemlock Grove, and I just want more of this universe. And of course I gave it 5 stars. And then I read Annie's Day by Andy Weir. I did like a GIF review of it, so I'll link it down below, but I gave it 4 stars. It's a free online short story, and it was really interesting. And then I read Letters from Medea. This is another poetry collection. I gave it 5 stars. And I have another sample, of course. They are rushed into you like the dollhouse you are. When will you stop letting everything play inside you? Do you remember the last time you stopped feeling like a playground? Deep, right? So I had a good month in August. And then over to September, the first thing I read is If Someone Says You Complete Me, Run by Whoopi Goldberg. I got it on audiobook, and I definitely want to get a physical book one of these days, but I loved hearing it from Whoopi's voice, and I loved her relationship advice in this book. Basically, it was something that you probably already know, but like, honesty really is the best policy, but not only with your partner, but with yourself. She always says, know your own truth before you can get in a relationship with other people. She's like, it took her a long time to like kind of really admit out loud to other people what she really wanted, and she had been married a few times and divorced. She's like, I already knew I didn't want to get married in one of them, but I did it because it was what is expected of me, and like all this other stuff. And yeah, so I really love this book. I felt connected to it already. I already know my own truth where relationships are concerned as of right now. So I really enjoyed it and gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And then I read Sweet Reckoning by Wendy Higgins. I was supposed to buddy read this with Katie, but she didn't end up reading it, so I just went on ahead without her. Sorry, Katie. But I really wanted to finish the series, and I'm so glad that I did. I really love the Sweet Evil trilogy. It follows this girl who finds out that she already knew that she had different things because she had different types of powers, but she discovers that she is half angel, like half demon, and that is rare in this world. And she had to work for her father, who is a demon, and work with his vices, and just kind of see the explosion that leads up until this was very interesting, and I really liked the ending through it all. It would be kind of good to see an adaptation of it, whether a mini-series, a movie, or a TV show. I don't care. Then I read All the Things I Never Said by Michael Tiffany Trimmer. I gave this, it was another poetry collection, and since I didn't hate all of it, I gave it like a 2-star. This is like a Tumblr cliche that wasn't good. A cliche that was not good. Like, I don't. No, and I think the author was like 14, and she actually did have like a lot of, although a lot of people were like, I think I saw this on Tumblr from like other people originally, stuff like that. So I don't know. Moving on. I read Fell of Dark by Patrick Downs. I actually did a vlog when I was reading small books for the hashtag Yearathon, so I'll link it down below if anyone's interested, where I talk about it a little bit more. But this follows these like 2 mentally ill type of people, and we're in their head the whole time, so whatever they're feeling while they're going through their mental problems is what happens, is what we get. So there's no really coherent thing, and there's really not a really big plot line, but I really loved being in their head and seeing when they went and what their exploration was like. But at the same time, when you got to the end, that's when you needed a little bit more of a plot. And I did do a review of this, slightly jiffy, slightly thoughts, just random thoughts, so I'll link it down below. But I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I really enjoyed it, and I really do want to read it again sometime in the future. And then I read the Fudge series by Judy Blume. This is also part of my short book series, but it was a reread from childhood. Basically, I remembered a lot as I read through it. I always thought that I only read 1 or 2, but apparently I did read them all. So let's start with Tales of a 4th Grade Nothing. This is the first book in the Fudge series, and basically through this whole series we follow this boy, I forgot, Peter, and he has a little brother named Fudge, and just kind of their adventures as brothers, as siblings, that you can kind of relate to, especially if you have siblings. And I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. And then we got the second book, which is otherwise known as Sheila the Great. I didn't like Sheila when I was a kid, and I don't like her now. So this book, which followed in her point of view, I wasn't the happiest with, so I gave it like 3 stars, I believe. Yeah, I didn't like her, and it hasn't changed. And then we have Super Fudge, and we just see more of like Fudge's relationship with his brother grow throughout all these books. But so I gave this another 5 stars, Fudge-mania 5 stars, and then Double Fudge 5 stars, and you just kind of follow them as they grow up and the lessons that they are learning. And I really feel for Peter through some of this, and then for Fudge later on when they get a new sibling and he's no longer the youngest. So there we go. And then the next book that I read was Welcome to Our Village Series 2. So this is the last part of the audio series, and they changed like the main alien guy voice, I believe, but it really didn't hinder anything, because at first I was like kind of apprehensive about that, because you know, you're listening to this, you get attached to those voices. But I was really pleasantly surprised as it was on, and I was really sad to kind of see it end, and I'm really hoping for another 3rd series, you guys. 3rd series, so 5 out of 5 stars. And then I read Diary of a Ass Can by Andy Weir. This is a prequel to the Martian series. There is swearing, if you guys can't tell in such a short thing. But I love like this prequel. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I want a longer prequel. I would love to see how like they're like training together as, you know, astronauts and stuff, and maybe their journey to Mars. So and I love the movie as well. So next, I finally finished listening to Elvin Kess series 1, 2, and 3, and 4. It was all together, and it was like hours and hours and hours, and I just love this journey, like this fictional land where they have like a commentary, like all the tropes of like the elfin princess, the pretty one, the dumb one. And in this one we first follow, I forgot his name, but he is like a writer in our world, and they come for the chosen one, and he's not the chosen one, but his dog is, and he just thinks there's these crazy people who are trying to steal his dog, and he gets transported into this land, and it's just like funny, like they're trying to find the sword of Asnagard or whatever, and it's just like hilarious. I loved it. So it could go on forever. Frankly, if they pop up with another series, I would definitely like listen to it. And then we have Tied Up in Knots, the 3rd book in the Marshall's trilogy series. There's definitely going to be another book, hopefully, maybe following some other characters. And we again I did a review on it, so if you guys have read the other books, then you can, there's not like any huge spoilers in it, but it just tells you like what this book is about. So we follow Muriel and Ian again, and they kind of have some problems that crop up in their relationship. I thought the problems that they brought up were valid. It was kind of interesting to see how they would work through it, but I really like how the author dealt with it, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, obviously, and I would love to see more from them. The only thing about when you're reading books about couples, and it goes on for multiple books, like something has to happen, but you always don't want it to the detriment of your couple. You really just hope they can learn and grow from it, because on one hand I was like, yay, more from them. On the other hand, I'm like, she writing it about what now? Slight spoiler, I'll hold my hand up if you're not interested in the plot of this novel. Oh, and you plan on reading it. So when my hand goes down, I'll stop talking about the plot. So basically what happens is that Ian, he is like a Green Bay Reserve, so he's always going off for the Green Berets, and they don't know when it happens, and they're both U.S. Marshals, so they already have a dangerous jobs. So it's not really about that. But Muriel, you know, he starts to get like, I don't know, he's just like, I'm not sure if I can do this with you going off all the time, like I love you so much, and their relationship and how they deal with that. So hand down, so interesting. And then we have The Liar's Key by Mark Lawrence. This is the 2nd book in the Red Queen series. You guys already know I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I love this series. This one is following Prince Jalen, and I'm again like loving him and his humor in this book that he brings like to this world. But I really love seeing him grow up just a tad. The main thing with Prince Jalen isn't that he can't be responsible or like trustworthy and stuff. He just doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be in that position. He's very true to himself, and the fact that I feel like if he could just forget everything and live in a state of perfect bliss and ignorance, that he would, but you know, he's having to face reality, and that's something that is interesting to see. And then moving on from that, the last thing that I read was During the Dance by Mark Lawrence. This is free on the Kindle currently, so I'll link it down below, but it's also free like online if you just want to read it. And it was a nice short story. It wasn't part of the series, so you can just go ahead and read it about like this boy and his sister. So I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So it was really lovely and cute, and just thinking about it just makes hugs all over again. So that is what I read during those 3 months. You guys let me know if you guys have read any of those books. Are you guys into poetry? What kind of poetry anthologies have you guys read lately? Let me know, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.